Lads, how we been, my friends? How we been, huh? Good to see everybody. Today is Wednesday, April 9th, 2025, and the time is 5:21 p.m. And Ish is in the chat. What's up? I'm glad, man, because the live is dedicated to you, as you know, right? We discussed this on the school post. You brought up a great topic, man, and it ties really well into what I'm going to be going into today. So I'm glad you're here, man. So a recap for me. Firstly, I'm fairly exhausted, so forgive me. I'll be pretty low energy. Got my new job rolling, so I'm on day 3 now. Hours are pretty early, which is a good thing, but I'm not used to waking up this damn early. But what's nice is I got a lot of time in my day after work, which means that I've got a lot of time for very productive things. So I've got a pretty consistent gym schedule going where most days I'm going to the gym right after work. And what's cool is I'm pairing this with getting content as well. So I've been absolutely spamming my spyglasses the past few days. And there's quite a bit of content on there that you boys have yet to see. I've probably got at least between all the content I've gotten over the past few days, probably at least 3 infields off on just the glasses. And then we still got one from Barcelona to post as well. So that's great. As you see, the content is just more gearing towards proof now, right? It's like for those of you who were earlier subscribers, you've seen the date breakdowns, right? Now I just want to show you what it looks like to go in, because ultimately that's what I'll be able to teach guys. Yeah. The date breakdowns, they're fun. They're entertaining. As you guys may have seen, we got one guy on the channel who's just obsessed with my dating life, and he's always asking me, "How was this date? Oh, did that girl come out?" And I'm like, "Dude, get out of here, man. Why are you? Who cares? Yeah, that's not the point. The point is, I'm showing you what it looks like to go in person, get the date, and whatever happens after that's going to be up to you and how you're able to develop that skill. I mean, we already know I'm pretty decent at that already, right? After the approach, setting up the date, having her come out, yeah, I've already shown you plenty of date breakdowns there. So today's video, I went out firstly for content to come. I had a Swedish double date with one of my friends, which was sick. I was out approaching earlier last week, and I was able to get them on film on the spyglasses, which is pretty cool. So you'll get to see the majority of that approach. And then they ended up coming out with us. They were leaving town the next day to LA, and they weren't twins. I don't know if I said twins. They were sisters, but they both looked really good. And I told them, I got a cute friend you're going to like, come out with us. The entourage has already seen these clips. Of course, they get early access. So that's going to be a sick video, right? Where I'll get to kind of break down those approaches. And then today's whatever video I compile from today's content will be nice. And it'll really tie into Ish's post that he made on the school community, which we're going to get into shortly. So so just a recap of today, man. First I think I did one approach on the way to the gym. And it's funny, I still have this, we're all at different phases, right? So for me, oftentimes I have this little mental barrier with the spyglasses because I'm wondering, oh my God, can she tell can she tell it's rolling? Does she know what's going on? Right. Now, obviously I'm just out to get content. This is all educational, but still that kind of awkward feeling of like, oh, if she goes, hey, are those filming? And then I feel like I'll be in an awkward scenario. But firstly, that's happened, I think, one time in a mall like a year ago. And secondly, it's all mental. Yeah. Which is why I wanted to start out with this. Um, all of this is in our head, you know, and today will be actually a perfect illustration of what I mean. All of these roadblocks, these hurdles, we put them in front of ourselves. And I think early on, it's because we're scared, right? Early on, we put these hurdles in front of us because we don't want to go in at all. And so it's like a convenient excuse. Oh, what if this? What if somebody punches me? Oh, what if people think I'm weird? Oh, what if people think I'm needy, right? And then as you actually start developing the skill set, you actually start going in, walking over, getting over your fear. Yeah. I think it starts to change to you get to a point. Well, I'll speak from my perspective. I get to a point where I actually get pretty fucking solid results. Yeah, at least at the very least, yeah. Who knows what'll happen tomorrow? Yeah, I could fall off the face of the earth. But at least thus far in my history of approaches, I've gotten some pretty rock solid results. Yeah. Now, all of that is a result of the absolute volume of approaches that I've done in my lifetime. Yeah. So don't think that I'm any different than you. Oh, this guy has a cooler or a fuller beard than me. Oh, this guy's haircut is this way. Oh, this guy, he's not fat like me. To be fair, if you're fat, that's something you could fix. But anyways, this damn, I forgot where I was going with that. But point being, these mental roadblocks, we put them in front of ourselves. Oh, that's what I was saying. And so once you've gotten to a point where you have gotten some pretty solid results, like take this for example. I was in Barcelona, had the time of my life. I got 3 dates in 3 days. They all came back. It was a great time. And now coming back to San Francisco, going in for all these approaches and just getting right jab, left hook. Yeah, just girls walking past. Oh, I got a boyfriend here. The next 3 also are married, and it's like, ah, Jesus, right? So I have to, I even me, right? I have to remind myself that it's all right to, well, I have to remind myself that every approach is what's the word? Isolated, is non-related to the subsequent and the previous approach, right? So yeah, maybe I got spoiled in Barcelona because number one, it's a more accepting, open culture, certainly. Yeah. So if you come out here to San Francisco, you'll notice that people are a bit more closed off because everybody on every fucking street corner is trying to sell you something and try to get you to sign up or donate to some cause, and you got panhandlers over there. So it's a bit chaotic out here. Yeah. Not to say Barcelona didn't have any of that, but what I noticed is everybody was just more open to speaking. Kind of like, the reason why I did my immersion in Poland with Christian, that was one of the reasons. Just the culture in general, people were just more open to speaking to strangers, right? So it was a great place to learn, and referring to Poland. And then in Barcelona, I got spoiled, right? Because like I was barely trying out there. That was the best part. Yeah, it's like I was barely trying. I was just going in with the buddies, right? We had the whole entourage group out there, and so a lot of it was kind of tweaking some of the other guys that were newer in the group, tweaking their technique and saying, yeah, you should try this next time. I was barely trying out there. Yeah, I didn't even pull out the spy glasses. Really when I was trying was the infields, and amazing results came of it. Yeah, so if you were in the entourage, you would know a bit more. But I mean, yeah, it was a good time. And then to come back here and just get battered, I just have to remind myself that that's the word, independent. Each approach is independent, right? I see a girl wearing scrubs and I think, whoa, that's a nurse, that's a doctor, she's too mature for me, this and that. And then those of you who were earlier subs know that I had that date breakdown with the nurse, right? It was a great time. She came out, had drinks. So it's like I've proven to myself over time that there isn't really a difference between girls that would like me and girls that wouldn't. That is visible, right? Like there's not a different types, different cultures, different languages, different races, right? All of these differences, and we try to like blanket label ourselves and go, oh, she's not going to like me because, but you get to a point where you're actually getting results, or you've gotten results in the past, and then you can look back and go, wait, but that's not true, is it? Because I've proven myself wrong in the past, right? So why am I going over this? So let's go into the recap. So today, as I mentioned, I went to the gym. One approach on the way to the gym. I do remember that approach specifically. I did a bunch today, by the way, at least 15. Yeah, and I got majority of them on the spy glasses, including this first one I'm referring to. Majority of them good reactions as well. So first one was a pretty good reaction. I remember she was walking pretty much close to where I live. I was on the way to the gym, skating by, doubled back, right? Told her, oh my, you look amazing, right? You look incredible. And she tells me she has a boyfriend. This was probably 7, let's say if I did 15 approaches, at least 7 or 8 of them had a boyfriend or were married, potentially more. And that was the start of the session. Yeah. Now keep in mind I'm out with the glasses because I want to get content. So normally I'm not going out to go approach like this. In fact, I'll go into the four numbers that I got, and I'm even if they do end up, if I text them and they do end up replying, I'm not sure if I'm gonna really set up a date or anything. Two of them were pretty cute, but I'm not really itching for a date these days. So I might just let it sit, let it be content. But point is, after that approach, didn't do a single other one all the way to the gym. It's about a 4 or 5 block ride, and super in my head. Yeah, I just remember thinking, geez, it's been a while since I got a really solid conversation on camera on these spyglasses for these boys, right? All these thoughts going through my head. Did I lose the sauce? Do I know what I'm doing? Yeah. How am I a fluke? Like, was this all a fluke and now I lost the sauce? But keep in mind, the same guy who's look at the infields. You'll see what I've been able to do, and that's just on camera, right? When all the pressure is there, when I got somebody pointing and shooting a camera at me, and I'm mic'd up, and all of this, I'm out for content, and that's what I'm able to produce on camera, right? So you can imagine when I'm out casually doing this, or when I got a buddy with me and we're walking down the street, the results honestly are even better. And that same guy with that same track record today at 25 years old, 2 years into this skill set with as many results as I could ever ask for, am still going, did I lose it? Do I know what I'm doing out here? Do any of these girls like me? Is there something in my hair? Is there something wrong with, right? I'm like playing with my hair, making sure it's all the curls are falling in the right places, right? This stuff that doesn't really matter. What matters was the self-belief, right? And so what's great is I kind of dug myself out of this hole today because I get off work so early. It was such a nice day, by the way, out here in San Francisco. It was 70 degrees out here today. I think it still is around that temperature. And so I decided I got a full, my glasses got pretty much full battery. Let me just go and see how many approaches I can get in. Let me just try to get some content, right? So repeat, repeat, repeat. I mean, it had to have been probably 10, maybe like 12 approaches that went nowhere. Yeah. And a couple of these, sprinkle in a few light conversations where the girl spoke to me very briefly. A lot of you will get to see this when I do compile this together. But even that, right? Like, it used to feel like a success when the girl stopped and spoke to me. Now it doesn't feel like much of a success unless we have like a elaborate conversation and she's actually into me and she's actually single. But this is what I mean, right? Like, we're creating this in our own minds, because in theory, I could be out with a different mentality, right? I'm just out to make her day. I'm just out to give her the compliment. And if anything happens after that, great. Stuff I literally tell you guys, I have to remind myself every time I go out and try to film this content for you. Yeah. Now, there's a big shift that happened very deep into the session. So I skated from over here in Union Square, just along Market Street, all the way to the Mission District, going in for approaches on the way. Yeah. And once again, I was getting solid reactions. Like, every time I gave the compliment, they were very flattered and they were thanking me. Yeah. I think the very first girl of the day even said, like, oh, keep doing it. Because she told me she has a boyfriend. She goes, keep doing this. One of these girls that you walk up to, she's going to love this if she's single. And I'm like, for sure, I'll meet you here again in 1 year. Let's see if you're single. Right. I gave her a little joke there. But the point is, I was getting solid reactions, what we would call good reactions, but it just felt shitty because I was like, oh my God, how many approaches have I done? I haven't found one single girl that wants to go on a date. That's how I was feeling. Yeah. But I just continued to go in. I think a big portion of this is because I had the glasses with me and I was like, well, I'm out here for content. I'm all the way in the fucking Mission District at this point, right? A 20-minute skate ride back to my place. So I was like, oh, let's just go until the glasses die, basically. And so, yeah, I was pretty much rapid firing along Mission Street. And yeah, there's this girl that was walking on one of the side streets towards me. And once again, this had to be approach number 14 or something. I mean, maybe 11. I don't know. I pick up my board. I walk over, excuse me, 2 seconds. Now, one thing I will say is, as I progress, like, as I not progress, but as I go through a session, right, as I'm doing this spam approach that I rarely do unless I'm getting content, I do notice that the nerves start to fall away. The delivery starts to get way better, right? So at this point, this is the first girl that liked me, gave me her number. We tried to set up a date, and I got most of this clipped on camera for you. But by this point in the session, I had given so many compliments, gotten so many at least positive, neutral to positive reactions that I don't remember exactly what I said, but I go over and "Oh, you look fucking incredible. I had to come flirt with you. You look so good." Yeah, and it's like the delivery is more relaxed, and it almost feels more. It feels like I got not less to lose, but it feels like I guess a good way to put this is it feels like my emotions are more detached from this girl's reaction at that point, right? Because I'm like, I've already gone up to 10, 11, 12 girls at this point. All of them blew me off, or, oh, I married, oh, I got a boyfriend, this and that. And do I really care? Yeah, I mean, to be fair, usually if I'm not getting content, I probably would have gone home at this point. Yeah, I wouldn't have still been out. But because I was getting content, I was like, let's just keep going in. Yeah, what's the harm in continuing to try, right? So this is the guy that's teaching this, telling you about the thoughts that are going through my head. Hopefully this is normalizing this for you. I hope that this is relatable. Yeah, because you might watch the infields, or you might see me all throughout this whole process of learning cold approach and starting to share it with the world. You might think that I'm this polished, seasoned guy that doesn't have fears. Yeah, that's so smooth, that goes out and things always go his way. And I'm telling you, the first 12 girls or so, not interested. Yeah, they were not interested. Now you see the title is four numbers. These weren't back to back to back. I think like I got three of them were in a row, and then one, a couple blowouts, and then the third, and then a couple more. The glasses died. I continued going in. I was just feeling real good. But the ones that I did, so here's something to note too. I feel as though when I'm approaching and things aren't going my way, I tend to want to go for the easier ones, right? So I'll when the sidewalk is a lot more clear, maybe there's just a few people in earshot or none, right? And what I noticed about the ones that started going well, so once I stopped the first girl who ended up liking me and we exchanged numbers and stuff, that was on more of like an isolated side street, as I mentioned. So weren't many people around. After that, right, you get that kind of adrenaline boost. And I was going in for way more ballsy ones. All right. So the very next one I go in for, I'd gotten back to Market Street. I was so pleased with that conversation. And we had a pretty solid conversation that I was like, all right, I'm good now. Let me start heading home. So I got to Market Street. I was passing a bus stop, and I'd done like two or three other bus stop approaches, we can call them, right? But this one was different. Whereas those other ones, to be fair, yeah, maybe the girl had a boyfriend, maybe whatever. But for the ones that didn't, I did notice it within myself that I was a little quieter, right? I knew there were so many people at the bus stop. So, excuse me, you look incredible, right? And I'm hoping that not everybody is hearing me, because I'm like, oh, what if she rejects me? I'm so worried about this. But it's funny, you get one really solid conversation under your belt where the girl actually likes you and wants to come out, and all of a sudden you just get this new level of confidence, right? So I remember this is the second phone number. It was a girl at a bus stop, and this one was fucking bold. Yeah, so there were a decent number of people to her left, I remember, but I literally just I skated right past the bus stop. I was like, whoa, she's hot. Doubled back, like full throttle, stopped it a few, probably like 6 to 10 feet before I got to her, picked up the board, said excuse me, so everybody at the fucking bus stop could have heard that, right? Excuse me, you look fucking incredible. I can't wait to put the content together, because you'll see what I mean. And yeah, this was a fun conversation. I'm not really making this live to go over the conversations though, as you know, you'll get that in the infield. But it's just funny what momentum can do, what a little positive momentum can do. Yeah. So we're gonna get into Ish's his comment here, his post that he made. And there were a couple of other pretty solid another bus stop approach that went really well. And then yeah, the final one was closer to where I live. But so reason I'm going over this is I notice Ish and a lot of guys in the chat, they might be going in for a ton, and it kind of just starts to feel like a drag. So I'm just going to read the note that he made, because I thought that was such a solid post. All right. So he titled the whole post acceptance, and he kind of goes over his day. And then he also attaches some screenshots of a note file that he made. All right. So he says, I accept that not every woman will be interested in me. I accept that rejection is inevitable and does not define my character. I accept that my value is not determined by one approach. Yeah. This is stuff that we genuinely need to internalize. Even myself, even at the position where I'm at, the position I've gotten to, I still forget this stuff sometimes. Yeah. I accept that not every woman will be interested in me. All right. That one I think I ingrained into my mind a long time ago. But the second bullet point, I accept that rejection is inevitable and does not define my character. This one's huge. Yeah, I made a post in the entourage. It might have been, I think 2 days ago. So today's what, Wednesday? So Monday, where I went out and I was doing the same thing, right? I had the spy glasses, pretty much no results that day. I think I went in maybe 4 approaches, all not interested, right? And I made a post in the entourage and I was telling the guys, it's weird because after I got so many non-favorable results, I noticed that I let that fact really affect my sense of self-worth. So what does this mean tangibly? I remember after I got those 4 or so blowouts or whatever, and I was kind of skating home, kind of like, oh, this sucks, whatever. There was a guy that was crossing the street, and he was smiling, kind of like laughing in my direction. I remember we made eye contact. He started like smiling and laughing. I didn't know him, right? So after having gotten the 4 blowouts, I incorrectly assumed that this guy was making fun of me. Yeah. Now it's funny because if I had seen the same scenario today, I bet I would have reacted completely different. But I was crossing the street and I was kind of looking at him dead on, just mean mugging him. Yeah, expecting him to say some bullshit. And he goes, dude, you look like Shador Sanders. Has anyone ever told you that? And of course, I crack open and I go, oh, this guy's not making fun of me. He was just telling me he thought I was somebody else. He was like, yeah, I thought you were Shador Sanders, which, I get a lot, whatever. But it's just funny how something like approaching, yeah, and just getting that beat down. You're in front of the girl, you like her, you're presenting yourself. Does she like me back? No, I don't like you. No, I'm married. No, I'm in a rush. No, this, no, that. All the stuff we can't control. And that really trickles down into honestly the rest of my day and my self-esteem for the day. And I was telling the entourage, I'm like, that's not how this should be, right? That means that there's a lot of inner work that I still need to do. So maybe I'm sick at approaching, right? Maybe I'm really good at getting over my fear and going in, blah, blah, blah. But I say all this stuff to normal, it might sound like I'm criticizing myself. Really, what I want to do here is just show you how normal I really am. Yeah. All I've done that's different is I've put in a bunch of reps and I've put in very high quality reps because I was actually coached through this by somebody that's an expert in the field. Yeah. So you imagine you put the asterisk next to it, right? So however many thousands of approaches I've done, it's not just 1,000 random, like, oh, okay, I'm going and I'm trying this out. I'm trying this thing. I'm giving a stab at it, right? I'm giving it a stab. No, this was like multi-thousands to this point, right? Of very high quality coached approaches, right? Because before I'd ever gone in for my first one, I was out in Poland with Christian and he was giving me the rundown, right? So yeah, I really like to normalize myself and yeah, let you know that I'm no different. So anyways, continuing on, he says, I accept that some approaches could be awkward. Boom. That's a huge one. Yeah, really just, and also keep in mind, right? I noticed this on some of the approaches I did today is a lot of the times the girl was feeling more nervous than I was feeling, especially when we get to like approach number 10, 11, 12, and I'm going in for all this. You probably don't recognize it, but if you go in for this long, within yourself, you probably don't recognize it. But there is a certain like confidence that you do get even after getting rejected multiple times, you still get a little bit of like, wait, I'm still here. Wait, I'm still alive. So although you might not be stoked about how the day has gone so far, at least you're still leveling up your getting over, your ability to get over your fear, your ability to go after what you want, and that does show through in your subsequent deliveries. Yeah. So he says, I accept that some approaches could be awkward, and that's just how it goes. Yeah, especially the ones where she stood at the crosswalk about to cross the street, and you walk over. Right, I did a couple of these today. I walk over. You look so good. Everybody turns their head to blatantly look at what's going on. Yeah, it feels a little awkward, but you have to be okay with that. Yeah. He says, I accept that the only control I have is walking over to the girl. That one's huge. Yeah. If I can give you one sentence from this note file, this would be it, right? I accept that the only control I have is walking over to the girl that I like. Yeah. Unfortunately, you don't get to control whether or not she's single. You don't get to control whether or not she's going to like you. You don't get to control whether or not she's in a good mood, whether or not she's going to want to come out on a date with you, whether she's going to be nice to you or mean to you or dismiss you. You don't get to control it. And this is a double-edged sword, because on one end, especially to the beginner, that sucks because you're like, so wouldn't it be so much easier if every girl wore a fucking sign on her head that said, I'm single, I'm in a good mood today, I want to be approached by guys, I want to, like, yeah, obviously that would be nicer. And so it sucks because you go in and it's always a mixed bag. It's an unpredictable. You don't get to determine that. You just get to determine whether or not you go up, right? But the other side, right? I say it's a double-edged sword. The other side of that is that's the only way that our character is built in this space. Obviously, you go to the fucking army, you're gonna be way cooler and way more solid than I am. But when it comes to getting over this deep down fear that pretty much all of our generation seems to have of flirting with girls in public, because we're just this technology, TikTok, Tinder, Bumble generation, Instagram generation. When it comes to getting over this fear, which my whole channel is dedicated to helping you overcome, because I think it's so important, because I've seen what it's done for my life in every different area. Now I'm in tech sales. I thought, you know what I'm saying? I didn't think I was worth shit. Now I'm out here. I mean, to be fair, I'm on day 3, so I haven't sold anything quite yet. I'm still trading, but I didn't think I could do this. I didn't think I could get into a role like this. And a lot of what has given me the confidence to even go after something like this is the fact that I can just walk over to that hot girl over there because I like her and I want to get a date. And I'm like, you look hot. Oh my God. Let's come out on it. Do you not see how that would really trickle into the rest of your life? So that's what I mean by the double-edged sword, right? On one end, it sucks because you don't know how she's going to react. You don't know how embarrassed you're going to be before you walk over there, right? You don't know if she'll be in a good mood, if she'll reciprocate any interest, or if she'll just brush you off completely. You just don't know. But on the other end, that is what is building our character. Yeah. At least that's one method of doing it. Think about it, right? Because you're proving to your psyche deep down, you're proving to yourself that you are not, well, I was going to say you're not afraid, but a lot of times you're going in while you're afraid. But I guess more specifically, you're able to act while you're afraid, right? You're able to walk over to the girl while you're afraid. We did cold call, what do we call cold call practice today? And I'm the first to volunteer, and I'm the first to give us a shot at it, right? And I fumbled over my words plenty, and I got stuck in a couple of places. But that's what I mean is just going for it, right? Going for something that I was nervous, right? Manager goes, how you guys feeling? Oh, I'm scared. I'm nervous, but I volunteer to go first, right? You allow yourself to do things while you're scared, and it starts to trickle into every other area of your life. And it's just the coolest thing. Yeah. And that doesn't mean I'm a fearless person by any means, but it does mean that when I feel a fear, now I'm able to actually act anyways. Yeah. And I'm sure that, pretty not in the too distant future, I'm sure that's going to play into like some sort of fighting as well. Yeah. Cause that's something I want to get into, because I can't fight for shit. So, that's a fear that I'd like to overcome as well, is physical fear. But, you get it, boys? Yeah, I hope this is somewhat valuable. So anyways, so continuing, he says, what does he say? I accept that not every interaction will go perfect and must embrace imperfection. Yep. Plenty of those date breakdowns that I've since privated um, were not perfect. Yeah, they were not perfect by any means, and I was fumbling over my words when I walked over to her. And what do you know? She likes me enough still. She came out on the date still. We had a great time still. Yeah, they don't have to go perfect. That's why it's better to just go, right? It's better to just go in and give it a shot than it is to think through this. Same deal with what I'm doing now, right? With the cold calling. Rather than trying to have a perfect script ready. Yeah, some preparation is good, right? Yeah, some coaching is good. I agree. That's why I flew out to Poland, right? But once I got there, I wasn't trying to figure out, okay, once I say this, hopefully she'll say this, then I could respond with this, then she'll respond in one of three ways, and then here's how I'll counter each. Nah, you just walk over and you see what happens, and you trust yourself. And at first you're gonna suck, and then you're gonna learn how to improvise different things and different fun talking tracks, and now I just walk over and I say, "You look good," and I let it unravel from there. You don't have to think. I'm pretty much that's what I've always done. And I walk over, I give the compliment, and I let it unravel from there. And we've talked about, yeah, there are some different avenues you can go down, some fail safes, right? What are you up to? That's a big one that I use in pretty much every conversation, right? What are you up to? Um, oh, you're from the area? You're from the city or where? Right? That's a big one. This is stuff that I tend to use when the girl hasn't walked away, but also is not reciprocating or yeah, I guess reciprocating the conversation very much, and I'm kind of getting stuck. So I'm inviting her to speak a bit. This is often when I fall back onto these questions, right? But point is, I pretty much go over with a blank head. Yeah. And then we also have to imagine this from her perspective because she's got a guy coming up to her all of a sudden giving a compliment. As long as you're going in with the right energy, can you imagine? Right? This is probably so like disorienting for her. Yeah, like try to flip the reverse the roles. I know this would never happen. At least it's never happened to me. But imagine you're chilling at a bus stop, right, full of a bunch of strangers around you, and all of a sudden the hottest girl. Well, I guess we're considering us the hottest guy, but you get the point. Just imagine a hot girl's coming up to you at a bus stop, going, "Excuse me, hi, Mister with the curly hair. You are so handsome." I would just be blown away. I would just be, well, thank you, right? Regardless of like, here's a good way to put this too, even if that girl wasn't that attractive, right? Which a lot of guys probably think of themselves, or they think they're not attractive enough, or they think, "Oh, I'm not tall enough, I'm not this enough." Even if that girl wasn't attractive, I'd still be so astonished and so flattered that she took the time out of her day to come over and give me a compliment that I wouldn't necessarily play along with it, but I would at least, at the very least, "Oh, thank you," right? If she's not attractive, I probably wouldn't say it back, right? "Oh, you look good too." But I would at least go, "Oh, wow, thank you. You came over here to tell me that? Oh my God, thank you." And then she goes, "Yeah, you're amazing. I want to flirt with you and I want to take you on a date." Right? I'd be like, "Oh," then I'd come up with some excuse, right? This is why I say that anything but a yes is a no, right? Because then I would say, "Oh, but I'm in a rush. Oh, but I'm married," right? I'd pull some shit out of my ass. But I'm putting you through this exercise to think about it, right? It's like what we're doing is very nice. Yeah, it's very positive, right? And there's it's weird that there's this sense of shadiness that guys seem to feel about. And I understand it, right? Because we grew up with people telling us not, "Oh, don't show your interest." Of course, the whole red pill movement was, "Oh, you're a simp if you give a girl a compliment, you're a simp," right? They're giving all this terminology, right? Your friends and family want to keep you safe and subtle, and, "Oh, no, no, don't do that. Don't walk over to the girl. No, just find her on Instagram," right? Because they don't know what the fuck they're talking about or what they're doing, and their dating life looks just like pretty much everybody else's, and so they don't give you good advice. At least that was the case for me, right? I had plenty of family members and uncles telling me, "It's so easy. Oh my God, Ephraim, you're so handsome. These girls are gonna love you. You just gotta show up and they're gonna throw themselves at you, blah, blah, blah." And then I would do that, right? I'd go out with some friends and I'd look around and nothing was happening, right? The guys that were actually finding success were the ones that were taking the action, not the ones that were taking the bad advice from their relatives. And so, yeah, that's what prompted me to reach out and build a skill like this. So, anyways, all right, boys. Oh, what up? Joseph's in the chat. Good to see you, Entourage member. Wing, he says, Easy E, Wing, bro, what up? Ish says, just got home from work. Yes, sir. Looking forward to your take on the topic. Yeah, yeah. And then Samir says, yo, bro, when's the next video coming out? Lately, I've been going for about a video a week, honestly. I'm trying to kind of give myself like two, like, I guess what I'm saying is I got a bunch of content on the glasses, at least three videos worth, I think, on the glasses right now, plus another one from Barca. And I'm trying to give myself a bit of runway because I imagine I'm going to have to ramp up at this job. And it's, first few days they're a little easier because they're easing us into this. But as soon as I hit week 2 and week 3, where I actually have a quota to hit and I'm actually making calls and stuff, I imagine I'm going to be a bit stressed out. And I don't know if I'm going to be, clocking out, going to get content, I mean, ideally I will be if I'm doing really well, but I just want to give myself a little bit of leeway because I might have to stay after hours and make extra calls to make sure I hit quota. This is a job that I don't want to fuck up, right? Because it's remote and it gives me some freedom. And so this kind of unlocks a new wave, right? Because now I have the ability to travel, or at least this is, also part of it, right? I want to be able to perform. I want to become a really good performer at the company so that I can buy a little bit of equity there, right? A little bit of flexibility so I can go, hey, I'm hitting my numbers. I want to go out to this country for a month, or I want to go to this country. And ideally, the reason why I'll be flying out is because by that point I'll have a product in place and people reaching out to get coached. So hopefully you're seeing how this is all coming together. Yeah, I remember it's got to be 2-3 months ago. I promised you that I was working behind the scenes a ton. And so although the content slowed down, right? Because you remember later last year, it was almost like a live stream a day. And a bunch of videos coming out, all these date breakdowns and stuff. And so I warned you, right? I said, I think this was January. I said, look, I need to prioritize getting a new job. I didn't like the role that I was in prior. And so we're here, right? We've arrived at that future that I was telling you about. And so now I'm trying to really iron it out so that we can make something happen. So that was a long answer to your question. His question was just, when is the next video coming out, dude? I just started blabbing. But anyways, so yeah, Ish, I love this post. Yeah, he says that. Yeah, this is a good one. I accept that I don't need permission to express my identity. Yeah, that's a great one. You really don't. Yeah, that's actually a great point that I found. I still struggle with this daily, like genuinely on a daily basis. The spot that I'm working at now, a lot of high level people, and I noticed that they're just so quick on their feet when it comes to just discussing things very casually. Yeah, just, oh, this show, oh, this food, oh, this place. And I don't get it. Yeah, maybe they just speak to more people and they got way more friends than me and they got way more social experience, so to say. But yeah, I think the same way, man. It's like a lot of the times I find myself in that place where I'm scared to say anything because I'm too afraid to express myself fully. So I kind of just say nothing instead. And I'm just more quiet and I'll try to contribute. This is a lot of what I talk about when I say I suck at nightlife, right? Is because, you ask one person and they might say this, oh, Ephraim is so fun, so energetic, so great. But then you see me out at a nightclub or a bar type of venue and you'll go, this guy's pretty quiet. Yeah, this guy's actually pretty silent. So yeah, I mean, I'm taking notes as well, right? That's why I like our community. Yeah, it's, for the meantime, it's free. We're going to see if there's more value that I can add and then start charging for as well. That's going to be an angle. We'll see. It's coming together, boys. It's coming together. Hey, Urban, what's going on, Anik? Good to see you, Urban. How have you boys been, by the way? Yeah, let's just chat for a bit. We're 40 minutes in. I'm going to hop off soon, but let's chat for a bit. Anybody got any updates they want to share, things they're going through? Keep it somewhat related to approach, of course, but just dating in general. How are guys lining up dates? How have the approaches been, the replies to your approaches? What are some struggles that you're going through? Sweet. Ish says he did 2 approaches downtown. I assume that's today. What are your hangups, man? Because I know we spoke a couple months. Excuse me. I know we spoke a couple months back, and you were starting to get some traction with lining up dates, and I'm not sure if any of those um, actually materialized, but curious to hear about it. Yeah, is that still the case? Are you running into roadblocks? I know Ish. We spoke together about the conversations that you were having, because I remember I was like, yeah, I surface level, I can't see anything wrong. The fact that you're going in for these approaches is very admirable. So we dug a bit deeper, and I remember we were talking about like PUA lingo, right? A lot of your conversations that I listened to started sounding a bit PUA, kind of scripted, and this is something that I would expect somebody to say that walked over to the girl, kind of a thing, right? Urban says approached a girl today while she's eating at Chipotle. That's ballsy, man. That's very ballsy. How'd that end up? Yeah, I'll give you a little nugget here. Oftentimes, when I go up to a girl that's stationary, I often, if she doesn't, if she's not interested immediately, then usually what I'll soften it a bit, and so I'll go before I drop off the compliment. Right, I'm walking up to her. I got right in front of her. This is pretty much my style now, right? I get right in front of the girl. I don't do any angles anymore. At least I try not to. And and I'll go, excuse me, how's it going? So this has been my line quite a bit recently. I Rather than going straight into excuse me, I just passed you. I had to turn around and come back because you look so great, right? That was like Ephraim from a year ago. Nowadays it's sound, and you'll see this of course in the infields, but it's sounding more like, excuse me, hey, how's it going? And I'll let it simmer for a bit, right? I'll let her reply, kind of understand what's going on. Oh, this is quick side note. This was really solid. Is one of the approaches I did today. The girl told me she was married after I said, excuse me. And I was like, yes, that means that she knew exactly why I was coming up to her. I see that as such a huge win. Yeah. Because if you're getting results like, or responses like they're kind of confused and they're like, why are you coming up? Why are you talking to me? What do you want? Like that kind of stuff. Then that means your vibes are off. Right. But the fact that I was trying to stop her, excuse me, hey, excuse me, hi. And then she just holds up her ring and goes, I'm married. Sorry, I'm married. I go, you knew I was coming up to you, huh? Like that just hypes me up because that means that I'm going in with the exact right energy. Yeah. It's like, you think about it this way. Somebody that's going up to her and they look very disheveled and they got tattered clothes. She's probably going to go, oh, sorry, I don't have any money. Right. Somebody that's going up to her with like a clipboard and something to sign. Oh, we work for this. Oh, we work for the Nature Conservatory. This. She's probably gonna go, oh, sorry, I don't want to sign. Oh, sorry, I'm not interested. I'm in a rush. But for me, she goes, sorry, I'm married, right? Which means that whatever I was giving off when I was trying to go over and stop her and I was smiling and excuse me, that told her that I was flirting with her. She could tell just by looking me up and down. That's exactly where we want to be. Does that make sense? So, let's go. Urban says he got the number from Chipotle girl. Fair play, dude. I cannot say I've ever done that. Fair play, yeah. And I love Chipotle. Never done an approach in one. So good stuff, man. So Ish says conversation framework closing. Says yeah. Ever since I cut down the PUA lingo, my approaches have been better. Girls are viewing me more as a normal dude, not as a robot. Sweet, yeah, sweet. And you just remember, man, because I know you're one of the guys that really go after it and you go in. Just remember that you haven't been coached through this yet, right? So it's like give yourself some grace. You can't expect pull university level results without having my level of training, right? This is all thanks to the immersion that I did with Christian back in 2023 in Warsaw, Poland. That's what this entire channel sprung from. Literally, I'd have nothing to talk about if I didn't do that, right? If I had just watched his videos and then tried my own shot at it, I'd probably still be trying to get my first ever phone number through approach, and I probably would have only done about 50, in the last what has it been, 2 years? maybe more like 30. And I've done thousands because I learned how to get over my fear in a very structured way, with somebody that was able to give me freedom from shame, freedom from yeah, just what you said, Ish, right? Freedom to express myself. So anyways, Ish says, for sure, I'm just doing the best I can. Hell yeah. It says, through your live streams, Christians free courses. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're getting it, dude. Obviously, if your financial situation gets to the point where you can work with Christian, I would highly recommend you reach out. But otherwise, yeah, I'm still working out some sort of a product or service. So, and I know we spoke about something in the future potentially as well. So yeah, just keep working at it, man. Keep working at it. Keep doing your best, and I'll continue to make content and contribute how I can. Yeah, I said it earlier in the live stream, boys. I'm really I'm not even too worried about a date. I'm more psyched that I got a new job that's remote, that has a high ceiling as far as income potential. That was that part of my life that was definitely missing for the past year, really, since I got laid off from my last programming role back in January of, I think February of 2024. Think about it, it's been over a year since I was financially where I wanted to be. And so that's, what's funny is over the last year, dating life was amazing, right? Like over the last year, I met so many girls from so many countries, and yeah, so many dates. It was great. But, like that kind of just got old. And I was like, all right, I'm not to say that's always going to be old. That's always going to be the case. But for now, I'm more so like, whatever. I've got something good going on my end. So let me just prioritize content and career, and see what I can make of myself in my life. So Urban says, I'll be honest, on the street, approaches are one of my weaknesses. Interesting. I'm much more better when the girl is stationary or I happen to see her in a particular setting like mall, venue, stores. Okay. Yeah. I mean, obviously. So that makes sense. And don't think that that's abnormal. That's the norm, right? That's pretty standard. The first day of approaching for me in Warsaw, I only walked over to girls that were stationary, right? That were on their phone scrolling or doing whatever, right? I remember there's a super cute girl that was working at a jewelry shop out in Warsaw. She was outside on her break smoking a cigarette. So I walked over. So it's like, keep in mind, that's normal. And it's because it's a lot easier, right? So this isn't downplaying at all what you've been able to do, by the way, Urban. Bravo for approaching, and you're active in the community. And I know you do your thing, right? But that's standard. I would be amazed if a guy came onto the channel, right, and commented saying, yeah, dude, I've never done an approach before, and I just went out for the first time today, and I was able to like stop girls in a bunch of different ways that were walking this way, passing me. I doubled back. I'd be like, really? You were able to do that? No practice, never done, right? That would be absurd. And it's because she's already stopped, right? So that makes a few things easier. Firstly, if she's already stopped, it makes the approach itself very easy, because there's no, a lot of what I'm doing when I'm getting the date and approaching the girl is getting her to stop. Especially, you go back to my most recent infields, you'll see a couple where I was really having to commit, right? Where I was really having to, oh, no worries. I'm not 2 seconds. Don't worry. I'm not selling anything. Now, there's a few reasons why I think that you should get to the point where you can stop the girl that's walking in transit in whatever scenario. Firstly, it's because you're going to miss out on so many opportunities that the girl is not stationary, right? Majority of the girls that you probably see that you like are probably on their way to something, right? Or doing something. They're probably not sitting in Chipotle or standing on their phone. Although you might get lucky and get thrown a bone every now and then, right? Usually that's not the case. And then the second thing is, it's just so much bolder, right? The fact that she was already in motion and then you walked over and you stopped her in her tracks, right? With just your voice. Yeah. And just, excuse me, no worries, just 2 seconds. You look so good, right? It's like, it makes the entire experience a little more dense. I don't know if that's the right word, but it's what I guess what I'm saying is walking over to the girl and she's stationary, although that's really cool, and I do it all the time as well. I kind of would compare that to like you see a girl at the bar and you walk over. And obviously, this is still harder because it's daytime. You got all these ears on you. She's not specifically out at a bar dressed up to be approached, yada yada. But there is a element of like easiness, right? In comparison to when she's walking. So I would, if I were you, I would do my best to, well, obviously reach out to somebody to teach you if you got the funds for that. But I would, if I were you, I would do my best to actually learn how to stop the girl when she's actually in motion. And to start out, by the way, the one that's way easier is when she's walking towards you, right? So this is a little difficult for the beginner because it means you have to act on immediacy, right? Whereas if she's already passed you, at least you get time to like gather yourself. All right, here we go. And then like double back and try to stop her. But the problem there is it's a lot harder to come around from, having already passed her, now turn around, catch up, get in front of her, than it is to just, excuse me, right? As she's walking towards you, you clock her, you go, oh, she's hot. And then right away, excuse me, oh, you look so good, right? Do it that way. But I'd recommend starting there, right? We call it the front stop. We're getting nerdy now, right? I would recommend starting at the front stop. Because I think that's a lot easier. That's what I did too, right? So first it was stationary. Day two was front stop. Day two was stopping girls that were walking towards me, and then day three was stopping girls that had already passed me. And then after that, right, pretty much everything is a variation of that. That's pretty much all you need to know. Pretty much everything else is a variation of that, right? And then after that, it was kind of like, oh no, Christian, she already crossed the street. What do I do now? She hasn't, she's not stationary. She's not in front of me and she hasn't passed me. She crossed the street. And then he's all right, what the fuck? There's no rules, bro. Go after her, right? So everything else is a variation. Ish says, grinding hard with the freelance photography design business, going to take it to the moon. So hopefully I'll reach 10K by August so I can invest in, oh, bet. Okay. Keep me updated there, dude. Keep me updated there. Yeah, because keep in mind, I don't even have a product or service yet. So depending on people's situation, we might be able to be flexible here and like, I guess what I'm saying is if you're talking about investing that much, then we're probably talking like 3 weeks of coaching, 2 to 3 weeks. I mean, I don't know. I still don't have a product or service yet. That's the thing. But, if somebody were to pay me that much right now, having never coached anybody, I'd probably want to like get you from zero to hero. Basically like, all right, you can make your own channel and show off if you wanted, like that level. So, which is obviously what I'd want for most people, but I can't commit. If somebody's paying me a tiny bit of money, I can't commit that much time. So, and we just got a text back from one of the approaches today. That's sick. That's pretty cool. All right. Anyways, yeah, we'll see. I'm not really fiending for a date these days. Yes. Invest Quest, dude. What's going on? Invest Quest. I recognize your name and your profile photo. So what's going on, bro? Been a while. It says keep up the infields. Good content, highs and lows. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Yeah, I put a lot of work into it. It's a lot of mental anguish goes into these infields, man. I'll tell you, because a lot of the times that's the thing, right? Is like this channel and this movement is something that I'm doing because I want to make a difference, and I just want to make a difference, right, in people's lives. So sometimes it is hard to be in a position where I'm like, I don't really want any dates for right now or for the foreseeable future. I don't really want any new dates, any new experiences right now. If they come, great. If not, great. But to still get myself to like leave the home, charge the glasses, put on the glasses, go in for all these approaches, sometimes it is a little difficult. But what am I saying, man? I'm blessed to be here. Yeah. Let's reframe for a second. Look at my life. I'm living in San Francisco, California. People are dying, crossing borders and trying to get over here. And yeah, let's not take that for granted, boys. All right, boys. We went for just under an hour. I appreciated all those of you who joined and who commented. Yeah, we were active in the chat today. Sweet. Yeah, I love when you guys have questions and comments. So, anyways, it's 6. I'm probably gonna sleep in about 2-3 hours. Yeah, I've been waking up at 5 a.m. Not the easiest. There I go again, huh? There I am complaining again when I'm working fully remote. What do I have to complain about? Yeah. We love life. All right. Life is fucking good. In fact, life has arguably never been better. Yeah. With the fact that I've got a channel. I'm in a group called the Entourage. I've got sick guys next to me. I've traveled to different countries and I can see myself doing it in the near future. And I got a solid job going and I'm hitting the gym and got a gorgeous girl that I see often. Yeah, what am I complaining about, huh? Life is great. And it's my mission to get as many of you to this point as possible. Yeah. So I can't help you with all aspects of your life, but this aspect of your life, I'm here to help you with. Yeah. Getting over your fear, finding the girl of your dreams, and finding her in a fucking manly way, not finding her online, boys. Yeah. So I hope you enjoyed. I'm gonna go make myself a tamale right now. Got some Trader Joe's tamales. They're pretty decent. Some sriracha sauce to go with it. Love you all, man. Seriously, keep going in. Yeah, keep going in for your approaches. Don't give up. Yeah, there's light at the end of the tunnel. You just gotta build the skill, man. And it's not an easy skill to build, but it's one worth building because you'll never have to build it again. I promise you. Yeah. Then you could fly to Barcelona and find more dates than you know what to do with on days 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, it's crazy. Life's crazy. All right, boys, keep it up. Talk soon. Enjoy the content coming out over the next few weeks, and join the community also if you want to be active, because a lot of the content that I create, as far as the live streams, come from those posts in the school chat. So some of these guys like Ish and the last live stream I did, right? You get a full 30 minutes to an hour of me just answering your question or responding to it, or just giving you my thoughts. And I think it's win-win, right? Because you get an answer to your question in a very in-depth way, and I get content. I get another live stream to make and another topic to talk about. So, all right, boys, love you as always. Going for your approaches. I know I will. Life is too short not to. Good night.